And we're live. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of 352 Blitz. Obviously, like I said, we're doing a little rebrand. Me and the boys sat down, we talked about it a little bit, and we decided that we want to just stick to college football. NFL is cool and everything, but we did some soul searching and thought about the podcast a little bit. And we just decided that we just love college football more. When we first rebranded the podcast, it was in the off season back in March, if you guys remember, and we were just like, it's kind of hard to talk about college football in the off season, but it's hard to talk about NFL too as well. We're making up topics here and there to make it to the off season, but when it came down to football season, we just knew that we were loving college football way more. So now we're talking about college football. Obviously, you see, it's just me here today. Justin had to work, unfortunately, and my boy Ed, he's dealing with something as well, personal. So they can't make it tonight, but they'll for sure be here next week. I got some good guests lining up. I don't know if you guys remember Clifford. He was on the original 352 Sports Talk podcast, and he's going to join us to talk about some college football in a couple of weeks or so. I got some of my boys. I got one friend that was on the walk-on. He was a walk-on for the OU football team, and he's going to join us next week and hop on the podcast and talk about us. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun for sure. If you guys haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff for me, please. You know how it is. Let's get to it, man. First off, we're going to start with talking about just a little bit of stuff from week 6. Actually, no, forget week 6. Let's go ahead and go to week 7. Obviously, tonight you got Colorado. They're playing. Sorry, I wasn't too prepared. I just wanted to hop on and talk to you guys for a little bit. But Colorado's playing Stanford, and we all know Stanford's fallen off in the last few years. Obviously, they had McCaffrey about 7 or 8 years ago, but ever since David Shaw left, Stanford has just been horrible. You know what I mean? So it is what it is there. We all know Colorado's going to win big that game going into 5-2. We'll talk a little bit more about, Coach Prime and what Colorado's been doing this season next week when I got all the boys on. But I'm going to cover some good week 7 games, talk about what I think is going to happen and whatnot, and let's keep it going. Sorry, I got my cats bothering me. But here we go. So first big game that we got to talk about for sure is the USC versus Notre Dame game. So first off, I think Notre Dame has made a big jump from where they were a year ago. I love their football coach. He's a great man, especially I watched him talk on the Pivot podcast and just hearing his life story, hearing about how his wife held him down when he was just a GA and struggling, and now they're just up and they're big and he's rich now, and then he's taking care of his wife and their big family. Beautiful to see him, do his thing. But, last year they struggled a lot. They lost to Marshall, I think, in the second game of last year. And then, things kind of started steadily going up for Notre Dame last year. And, now they're doing well, 5-2 in year 2 with the new coach. But I don't know, man. I think I'm going to go with a shocker here and say that USC is going to lose to Notre Dame. It's going to be a night game in South Bend. And USC did not look that good against Colorado. The boys almost lost that game. And you saw them last week struggling with Arizona too. So they didn't look too good as well last week, either. So, oh, shoot. What's up, bro? What up, bro? Chilling, man. Well, surprise visitor. Say what's up to my boy Ed. I'm just talking about the USC Notre Dame game. I don't know if you heard what I was saying.
Nah, I literally just joined. I don't know what you said.
Okay, got you. So I was just talking about how I think Notre Dame could win that game. It's a night game in South Bend. USC hasn't really been playing that well, especially you saw them last week struggle with Arizona, or was
right.
Arizona, one of the two. And then the week before that, they almost lost to Colorado. So USC has been looking that good,
Right.
So I was saying, I think Notre Dame, I think the boys can do it. They can pull it off. What do you think?
Is it at USC?
No, it's in South Bend, Notre Dame, at night.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they could definitely do it. Notre Dame has been tested a lot more than USC has. That's for sure. I don't think anybody can argue about that. So they could definitely do it, especially they lost to Ohio State at home, didn't they?
Yeah, it was a close game, though.
Yeah, well, that was like that last second thing at home. So they kind of have to redeem them. So I think if they beat USC, they can get kind of back in the contention or like back in the talk. Because they beat Duke, who's a ranked team, and they would beat now USC and then whoever else they beat after that. But so it's definitely doable. I'll say that it's definitely doable.
Yeah, for sure. I know they're 5-2 right now. I know they lost to Louisville, and Louisville's actually pretty good. We'll talk about them a little bit later. They lost to Louisville last week, and then 2 weeks before that, sorry, 1 week, before that, they lost to Ohio State at home in a heartbreaker.
Oh snap! Never mind. They're out of contention. My bad, bro.
Yeah,
I completely forgot that they lost to Louisville. So they're out of contention, but can they upset USC and make them kind of get out of the playoff contention? Absolutely.
yeah, for sure. I agree. I think I do think that their coach, I keep forgetting his name. I'm so bad with names. But I'm talking about Notre Dame's coach.
Yeah.
He's made a lot of improvements from
Freeman.
year. Hmm?
Marcus Freeman, right?
Yeah, Marcus Freeman, that's his name. Yeah. He's made a lot of improvement from year 1 to year 2. So I think if they can pull this off, that's going to build a lot of momentum. They're going to finish strong this season, and then probably be even better for year 3. So we'll see. Next game, Miami, North Carolina. So we all saw last week what happened with Miami when they refused to kneel the ball and fumbled, even though technically it was supposed to be a fumble. He was literally down in the replay.
Right.
But nonetheless he fumbled, and then Georgia Tech drove down the field 60 yards down the field and scored a game-winning touchdown in the last seconds of the game. First let's just talk about, obviously it's a big game. Playing at North Carolina this week. It's a night game in North Carolina. What's your initial thoughts when you hear about that game?
Well, got milk dripping everywhere. Sorry.
No.
So I think that my initial thoughts of that game.
All right. So I'm gonna talk about my thoughts real quick, and then Ed will give his thoughts if he gets a chance. Shout out to Zay. He was giving us his thoughts as well.
I'm good now. So my thoughts of that game is my thoughts. Damn, I can't even talk. My thoughts of that game is that I think that that North Carolina will show up and win that game. I think that when you lose a game like that, I'm talking about Miami. When you lose a game like that, it's very demoralizing for the team. Like you lose all your spirit. You can't really. You okay? Huh? It's very demoralizing for the team, and you kind of can't really trust your coaches, right? I mean, because the coaches are who lost that game for them. It wasn't the players. You decided to run the ball, and you fumbled the ball. And when you fumble the ball, now you gave the opportunity to the next team. But thank you, Zay. So Zay is saying, I think UNC will win that. I think it'll be kind of closer in the first half, but then in the second half, I think Drake May will take over with the Tar Heels, because it is at UNC, right?
Yeah, it's in North Carolina.
Yeah, so it's in Chapel Hill. Yeah. So I have them winning by. Come here. Come. So I have him. Sorry, he was crazy because he was just drinking, but I have UNC up by 14.
No, for sure. First off, what's up, Zay? Welcome to your first episode, big dog. My man's tired. But yeah, so I think that Mario Cristobal has probably lost the locker room, in my opinion. Just because that was such a bonehead thing, and then you obviously saw the players crying on the sideline, screaming, "What the hell are we doing?" You know what I mean? I think he could have lost the locker room with that one. I did. And, I honestly think Miami might get blown out this game, in my opinion. Just because, like I said, it's a night game for UNC. The boys are rolling. They just got one of the best players from the portal that he was suspended for a while, and now he's eligible to play. So now they got that big juice coming through. And I think it's going to be a big win for North Carolina. I think the boys are going to win like 38-3, something crazy like that. I think Miami is just.
I don't know about all that, but yeah.
Man, I don't know, bro. I think Miami's gutted, bro. The way they fell apart in that last like 3 or 4 plays of their last game, and the fact that they're on the sideline crying. That I feel like they overlooked Georgia Tech as well. Honestly, looking into this game that they have this week, and usually when the team loses the game before a big week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't tend to play that well, so I think UNC is going to win big for sure. But yeah, moving on, there's another big game that's coming up, and that's Oregon and Washington.
That's a huge game.
That is a huge game. Obviously, College game day is there. It's not a night game though, which I was hoping that it would be. But actually, no, that's a good thing for us because it'll be like 10 o'clock our time when they played.
Yeah, for
But
real.
but yeah, big game coming up. Got Oregon at Washington. Both teams undefeated. Both top 10 teams. I'll let you go first, Ed, for sure. What do you think about that game?
I think that's gonna be a high power game, high caliber. I have Washington winning though. I have Washington winning because they're at home. It's in Seattle. So it's very hard to go. Like they have a very good home crowd, and especially with both being ranked, such a big game.
1 second, guys. Obviously, you see my boy Zay is happy tonight. All right. I'm gonna get my thoughts real quick, and Ed will finish his thoughts whenever he gets a chance. So I think this is the most complete that Oregon has looked in a long, long time. I'm talking about ever since the Marcus Mariota days. But they have a high-powered offense, and they also got a great defense as well. You know what I mean? And I was always thinking that if Oregon could just have a great defense, or even just an above-average defense, the boys can be national champions. So the boys are complete, but also Washington looks complete as well. That defense is insane. That offense is insane. I think the quarterback, Michael Penix Jr., he might finish top three in Heisman contending. But if he has a big game tomorrow against Oregon, he could definitely be at the top of the Heisman conversation up there with Caleb Williams. And I think it's just Caleb Williams at the top right now, but I think Penix can go up there. He can really contend for that. So it's a lot to play for both teams, especially Bo Nix, obviously being in his 10th year in college. I think this is obviously a big game for him as well. I think he might have edge a little bit because he's been playing in big games in his college career, especially back at Auburn. He's played in these games before, and he knows what to expect. He knows how to play against a big crowd. He knows what to do. But I don't know, man. I'm going to agree with Ed though, and just say that Washington might win this game just because they're at home. Now Washington crowd is something serious, and they got a lot to prove. You know what I mean? And obviously, whoever wins this game will probably be in the top four easily, for sure. But I got Washington winning this one for sure. Ed, you good? Or no? Okay. So yeah, I got Washington winning. I think it's gonna be a close game for sure. I think Oregon's a great team, but I don't know. I can't see them going into Washington and winning that game. But yeah, good game. It's gonna be a good game nonetheless. Another one we have coming up is this could be a good game. Florida State and Syracuse. Syracuse has looked pretty solid this year. They're 4-2, and Florida State has been looking a little suspect against bad teams. Obviously against LSU they looked amazing, but against Boston College they struggled. They struggled against what they played last week. I think
Virginia.
Virginia struggled against Virginia last week, and when you struggle against trash teams like that, barely scraping by and barely winning, that's not good. Especially against Clemson. The week before that, they didn't look too good against Clemson, and we all know Clemson is trash this year. So I don't know, man. It could be scary.
Where's that at? Is that Syracuse?
Nelson Tally.
I think they'll win just because it's in Tally, but
Yeah.
they Florida State, they look amazing versus FSU. I mean versus LSU. But then ever since then, the only dominant game that they had was when they played some lower level school, and they beat them like 60-3 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But like with Boston College, they barely escaped there. I think they won by like 1 point or 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
Last week with Virginia, at one point it was like 22-17, heading into the late third quarter, and I think it took like I don't even know what it took for them to score another touchdown. But like the point is that they've been looking kind of suspect against lower teams, like you said. Bro, they've been looking kind of suspect with lower teams, and then looking great versus LSU. But that's that's been their main test the whole year. So there's a lot of hype with FSU and warranted, right? They return a lot of players. They have a top high. They returned a lot of people. They did well in the transfer portal. Um, and so we'll see how they do. Now because they got to play Miami. They beat Clemson, but Clemson is not that good. Even though they want to put that, they want to hang it in a banner that they beat. Even though Clemson's starting like 7 true freshmen, but we're not gonna talk about it. Um, so we'll see how they do with Miami. We'll see how they do with Syracuse. I think that will be a good test. Syracuse coach always has Syracuse playing very well and ready. I feel like they circle FSU game every single year because they play them tough every single year. They're like Vanderbilt. What Vanderbilt and Kentucky is to UF is exactly what Syracuse is to FSU.
Right.
They play them very tough. They beat them half the time and stuff like that. So we'll see. We'll see. But I think I got FSU tomorrow by at least by 10 points.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be one of those games where, they'll get their score early, you know what I mean? And then they'll probably go up 10-0 or 7-0. And then it'll be like that for like the whole first quarter. And then FSU will score. And then FSU will cause a turnover. And then it's going to just get close. And then FSU's going to pull away in the late third quarter, early fourth quarter. So I agree with you. I think FSU's going to win, especially since it's in Tallahassee. I don't really see them losing there. If it was in Syracuse, it may be a little different. But I don't see them boys pulling it off. There's a big game next week though. They play Duke. That's gonna be a good game. Because Duke
FSU plays Duke.
Yeah.
It's at FSU though, right?
Yeah, but
still, Duke plays very well. They've been pretty. Their only game that they lost was to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And so even then, that game they should have won that game, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. We'll talk more about that next week. But yeah, FSU. I got FSU this week. I'm praying for a Syracuse win, but
Right. No, for sure. Hey, one last game we should cover is the UCLA Oregon State game. Been paying a lot of attention to UCLA years with Chip Kelly, and also Oregon State's been looking really good this year too as well. Both of them are ranked. UCLA is 18 and Oregon State is 15. Both, Oregon State's 5-1, UCLA is 4-1. That's going to be a good game. Oregon State's offense has been looking almost unstoppable. Same, obviously, with UCLA. So I think my initial thoughts is just going to be a high-scoring game with probably end 49-52, one of the teams winning. What's your thoughts on that one?
So it's interesting, before the season started, everybody, sorry to deviate a little bit here, but in this offseason, the whole talk was about the Pac-12, how it's dissolving, and there was only 2 teams left, which is Washington State and Oregon State. But the Pac-12 right now has the most ranked teams, if I'm not mistaken. And if I'm mistaken about that, then they definitely have the most ranked teams in the top 15. Because Oregon State got to like 12 or something like that until they lost last week. But anyways, going back to the thing, I think Oregon State is a program that has been coming up in the last couple 2-3 years. We saw it last year when they beat the Gators. But now they got DJ. I don't know how to say his last name. Uyungangale, whatever it is. They got DJ. They got DJ out there. They got DJ out there doing good. They've been recruiting a little bit better. And their defense is actually like pretty sound. They're not playing Pac-12 defense. They're actually playing decent defense. So we'll see. I don't know who their quarterback is for UCLA. But the thing is, for UCLA to be 4-1 after losing that much talent last year, because you got to remember they lost DTR, who's done with the Cleveland Browns, and he was like almost a Heisman candidate. Yeah. They lost a good receiver and they lost a couple pieces, but they did get a top quarterback from last year, and so you can see Chip Kelly's already changing that program around with getting a little bit better quarterbacks and just talent overall. And getting them boys to play right. But where's the game at again?
The game is in Oregon State, at Oregon State.
So I got Oregon State because I know Oregon State just lost last week. I'm not sure who they lost to. Who did they lose to?
They lost to, play right now. Of course, my phone wants to go slow while I'm on air. They lost to California. No, sorry. They lost to they lost to Washington State, actually.
Washington State is ranked too.
Yes, they are.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that they're going to be hungry. They should have beat Washington State, and now they're going to have UCLA coming in. I think that their coach is going to have them ready to play, and
Mhm.
so I'm not going to say that. Yeah, it'll be a high scoring game just because Chip Kelly always scores 50,000 points and has no defense, and I think Oregon State's offense is able to keep up with that, and then at the end be able to make a stop on defense.
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah, I think like you said, DJ's been playing good. You know, obviously he was at Clemson. Things didn't work out there, so he transferred to Oregon State and he's been balling. But yeah, I think Oregon State is gonna definitely do good because they got pretty tough schedule to end the year. So they got UCLA obviously this week, and then 2 weeks later they got 2 weeks after today, tomorrow they got Colorado. Then a week after that they got Washington, and then they finish the season at Oregon.
Wow.
So that is not not an easy schedule. So I think their coach is going to have the focus for sure, and I think they're going to actually win this game. For sure. And I see them rolling into the Colorado game, and that's going to be a good game to talk about for sure whenever that comes around. But yeah, I got Oregon State beating UCLA tomorrow night. Tomorrow night. Oh shit!
Wow.
I didn't mean to cuss in front of him, but yeah. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all the big games that we should really talk about. We can talk about Florida too. Obviously, I think you guys have heard us, talk a lot about the Gators. You know, we're big Gator fans. We'll cover that game too as well. Obviously, we're going to Columbia tomorrow, 3:30 Eastern time. We're playing at South Carolina. That's gonna be a good game. The thing about South Carolina is that they're not as bad as record shows. Obviously they're 2-3, but they played good against Georgia. They played pretty solid against I forgot who else they played, but
They played UNC.
yeah, looked pretty good against North Carolina. So they're not a bad team whatsoever. Spencer Riddler, he can sling the ball for sure. Them boys are not bad at all. So it's gonna be a tough road test for us because Billy still hasn't really won a signature road game yet. Obviously he had his first big home win against Tennessee last week, but 2 weeks ago. But he still hasn't really won a SEC road game. I don't think. So this one's important for us. What do you think?
I think I think at this point with the record that he has, traveling somewhere not home, it's a must win. I'm not saying it's a must win like he's a good fire next week if he doesn't win, but I think it overall for the culture for the program to where it's supposed to be, where it needs to be, it's a must. Like there shouldn't be any excuses as to why we don't win. Um, they're not a bad team, but they're also not a great team. And into our bye week, 5-2, I think that most Gator fans could have, they couldn't have asked anything better than that, other than a few Gator fans out there that to win every game and be absolutely insane. But I think going 5-2 into the bye week and then going to play Georgia. It would be great. But I think we'll pull it off. I think that Mertz has been playing pretty well, actually. Not decent. He's been playing pretty well. He's top five in the SEC in passing yards. He has like 11 or 12 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So he's not turning the ball over. Um, the only thing is that we saw Spurrier say that we should maybe throw the ball down the field a little bit more, and we saw that happen a little bit more with Vanderbilt, although the passes weren't there. And then even Billy Napier's wife, hey, so what do you think about passing the ball downfield, like Spurrier said? So I think that Billy Napier's getting that, he's getting that Gator Nation is not something to mess with. Like you kind of have to listen to what the fans say and keep them happy. Unless if not, then they can just run you out of the building, and that's what's happened for the last three coaches. But I think that we win that game. We win that game. I'll say 28-24. It'll be close. It'll be, but we'll win the game.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game for sure. Like you said, I think Merrick's going to show us something. I think Merrick's going to have a great game, honestly, tomorrow. I'm excited to see what we're going to do. I'm excited. our defense play. I'm excited to have Trey more involved in the game because we all know that man's special for sure. I think he's fully healthy back. I think he's back fully healthy now, and I'm ready to see him do his thing. So I think we got a lot of weapons we need to use. I think Billy has kind of understood that he needs to change things up on offense, and I'm excited to see us play tomorrow, bro. I'm excited, man. I think we're going to win something ugly like 28-17, something like that. That feels about right. I feel like, so I come out of my score early, but then again, we're going to slow the game down and do our thing, cause some turnovers, and just like play kind of like how we did against Tennessee, where we just held the ball for 9 minutes, 8 minutes at a time, and wore the other team down. So I think we're going to do good for sure. Uh-oh. Zay's causing more noise. All right. Well, guys, that's all we. Oh.
Come. So, yeah, man, it's just exciting to see. Also, I wanted to say something to whoever responded to my tweet the other day. You're an idiot. You're an absolute idiot. Talking about, the college defenses aren't that good, so that shouldn't be something to talk about. So then why would we even play it?
Yeah.
And why even play it? It's a part of the game. So that tweet doesn't even make any sense. And if you actually read what I was saying, you can maybe comprehend a little bit of something. But if you just want to talk out your ass. But anyways, that's all I wanted to say.
Talk your shit. I like it. Yeah, we love you guys. We appreciate you guys. Obviously, like I said, I don't know why I did that. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it was a fun thing. I feel a lot more excited to talk about college football more, and I'm going to have some more good guests. Like I said, next week, I got one of my boys coming on the show, and then a couple weeks after that, we got Clifford Taylor. So he'll jump on the show and talk about some college football with us as well. And obviously, we're going to look to have the full panel on, and we're going to have some more good shows for you guys. So appreciate you guys riding with us. We're going to continue to grow, continue to keep working, continue to keep pushing forward, and we'll keep going, all right? We appreciate you guys. We love y'all. Eddie says bye. He can't, he has to meet right now. I'm pretty sure Zay's saying bye as well. But we love y'all. We appreciate you guys, and we will catch y'all later. Take care.